We need more green space here in San Pedro. We need a better neighbor here in San Pedro with the port. We need a place where our families can come and celebrate this great community. Maybe I could have all of you who played a role in the last few years, or many years, 20 years, in the case of some, raise your hand. All of you have been involved in this effort. Let's give them a big hand, everybody. These are the folks. You know, it always takes the village crier. It takes somebody to stand up and speak out, to extol the virtues of a community, but also demand accountability from our representatives. And I want to thank all of you, because without you, we wouldn't be here today. And it's people like you who care about their community, who want to make a difference, who celebrate the neighborhood that we acknowledge today. I want to also acknowledge a few people who are here with us today, beginning with Council Member Janice Hahn. You know, Janice lives here. Janice is one of those. I get an opportunity to work with council members all over the city. I'm in every part of the city, and I'll tell you, there are a few people who are as beloved, who are as responsive, who are as hardworking on behalf of her community. When she comes into my office on behalf of San Pedro or Wilmington or the 15th Councilmanic District, I always know it's going to be a rough sledding, you know, because she doesn't take no for an answer. And that's what you want from your council member. Let's give her a big giant hand. And you know, it takes a woman. When I first, well, it does take a woman. You know what? My mom was mom and dad and grandpa and grandma and auntie and uncle. Had a very small family, and she was tough as nails and made sure that whenever I detoured off the road, that she pulled me by the ear and made sure I got back on. And another very strong woman, a woman who's headed up this port, and I'll tell you, she's helped to make the waterfront project a reality. She's helped to make sure we're doing so much to clean up, green our port so that we can continue to grow and thrive in this region. Please help me in welcoming Geraldine Nats, the CEO. And with us as well, and I know somebody's going to get me a full list, but I'm trying to read from the program here. With us as well is another woman, a commissioner here. She's been there from the very beginning, an environmentalist, a lawyer, a community activist, someone who's passionate about the public health consequences of our port activity, who's led the effort on the board to do everything we can to clean up our port. And I want to let you all know that in 2 years, 2 short years, we have reduced the emissions, the pollution, the diesel emissions that come from trucks by 70% in 2 years. And no small part. Yeah, 70%. It's pretty amazing. Help me in welcoming Commissioner Lopez Mendoza, who's here with us today. Carolyn. And another, someone who's not a stranger to these parts, grew up here his whole life. I think he played ball here. Where'd you play ball? Mary Star. So he played ball at Mary Star. You all know Mary Star, and the Catholic school boy. And longshoreman, worked on these ports, represented the Longshoremen's Union. He's been a great voice for labor, for the environment, for the community. Help me in welcoming the Harbor Commissioner, Joe Radisich. And whenever I see the next person, well, you sit on my seat over there, John. Yeah, John Papa. Sit down on my seat. You're a little bigger than me anyway. You know, John Papadekas is another one of those people that whenever he walks up to you, you know he's got a list. He's got a mission. And the list is not a personal list. It's a list on behalf of the people that he's lived with virtually his entire life. This is a guy who's always there, acknowledging what a great community this is, advocating for the waterfront project and for many other efforts. Give him a big hand as well. And, you know, there are many neighborhood councils that have been involved in grassroots democracy. And I'll tell you, I'm a big believer in grassroots democracy. When you see how few people vote today, I tell people the remedy for getting more people to vote is to get more people involved. Because when people are involved, they know that vote's important. And I want to acknowledge June Burlingame Smith with the Coastal SP Neighborhood Council who's here with us. Scott Lane with the SP Youth Coalition is here with us. Daniela Cacavella. Is that it? Cacavella? Cacavella, yes. Middle school student who's here with us. My friend Camila Townsend, the CEO of the San Pedro Chamber of Commerce is here with us. A lot of women here. Yeah, there she is. I want to acknowledge all of them. Give them all a big hand, everybody. It's all about the thank yous. And finally, let me just say that I think it's hard, I think for many of you, particularly the folks who've been advocating for this for as long as 20 years, you remember the old tank company that was here. You remember what it used to look like here. Instead of a sprawling open space, there was a gritty factory facade. Instead of winding bike paths, there were endless rows of oil vats and machinery. And none of this would have been possible without the community advocates who are here today. Without the representation that we have here today, without an enlightened port leadership that we have here today. And I'm excited to be here to acknowledge your hard work. I love green space, as you all know. I talk about it everywhere I go. I want to see more trees, and I think we put, how many trees, 500? 500 trees here. Isn't that great? I don't know where they all are, but I know they're here. And 500 trees. That just makes me happy because, you know, I get beat up a lot because I said we were going to plant 1 million trees. We're now at 250,000 trees that we planted, 10 times the rate that we used to plant. We're not at 1 million yet, but we're 500 closer with this park, right? I love it. And, of course, the waterfront redevelopment project, which will have a price tag of about $1.2 billion, but create about 5,000 permanent jobs and provide more than 13,700 jobs during project design and construction. So we're going to have a first-class waterfront here, a much better neighbor here, and it's a testament to all of you, to this great